So welcome back students. Today we will discuss on the components of aggregate demand in both a closed as well as in an open economy. And here if we just ask ourselves what is a closed economy and what is an open economy. Yes, a closed economy is an economy which is, so to say, an isolated economy, okay, which is closed from the outside interferences. Okay, for example, we can say like an economy is considered as a closed one in which there is no trading relationship with other foreign countries, in which whatever trading is going on, whatever buying and selling, whatever consumption, distribution, production is going on, is taking place only internally. Okay, so a closed economy is one in which there is no uh, yes, there is no interference, so to say, from the outside world. Whereas opposite to a closed economy, we have an open economy. An open economy is one which is open. Okay, for example, if you talk about India, it is an open economy. Okay, India do shares, okay, whatever ideas, whatever goods with the outside world. Okay, not only shares, it also buys whatever goods, ideas, technologies, opinions from the outside world, from foreign countries, and as such it is referred to as an open economy. So now let us talk about the components of aggregate demand in a closed economy. If we talk about this aggregate demand, which is the sum total of the expenditures of all the people, okay, what is this aggregate demand comprises of? What are its components? Okay, so first let's have a look the components of aggregate demand in a closed economy. Further, a closed economy may be a two-sector economy or a three-sector economy. In a two-sector economy, we have only two sector. We have the household sector. We also have a producer sector. What is this household sector? The household sector comprises of families. Okay, and if we are asked who is there in a family, we have family members. It might be parents, it might be children, so on and so forth. Okay, and if we talk about this household sector do purchase different types of goods and commodities, do consume different types of goods and commodities. Okay, and if we take all the consumption together, okay, that means the household sector do spend on buying different goods and commodities, do spend on yes, purchasing different types of goods and commodities, and their expenditure is referred to as the consumption expenditure, which is symbolized by capital C. Besides the household sector, who used to buy goods and commodities, different types of goods and different types of commodities, we also have a producer sector in a two-sector economy. And who is this producer? Who are these producer sector? It comprises of producers. And what are these producers doing? They are producing the different types of goods, the different types of commodities that are being demanded by the consumers. Okay, so the producers, they do purchase goods for the purpose of investment. The producers do invest huge amount of resources, and their expenditure, whatever that they do invest in their business, okay, in order to produce tons and tons of goods and commodities, it is referred to as the investment expenditure. Thus, talking about a two-sector closed economy, aggregate demand has two components. We have the household sector, we have the producer sector. As such, under such a two-sector economy, aggregate demand is equal to C plus I, where C represents household expenditures, and I represents the producer's expenditures. Furthermore, a three-sector closed economy, it comprises of three sectors. One, as already said just now, we have the household sector, which comprises of families, okay, who used to consume, who used to buy different types of goods and commodities for their days-to-day requirement. We also have a producer sector, which comprises of the producers who used to spend, who used to invest huge amount of resources in order to produce goods and commodities. And besides these two sectors, we also have the government sector. And yes, we have this government sector. And if we ask ourselves, what is this government sector? Yes, we're talking about a government. And what is this government doing? This government also, it did incur expenditures or consumption expenditures. Okay, it did buy different goods and commodities for its own people. Okay, and not only it did buy the different goods and commodities for its people, especially the poor people, helping them. Okay, the government do also spend, okay, huge amount of expenditure. That means the government do also have a huge amount of expenditures. For example, it did spend on construction of roads, setting up of hospitals, setting up of schools, etc. So if we take all these spendings of the government, okay, together, it is referred, it is indicated by the letter G. Okay, that means the total government expenditure comprises both the buying of the different goods and commodities for its people, the spending on the so many projects, for example, construction of roads, bridges, etc. Okay, and it is indicated by the letter G. Thus, in a three-sector closed economy, we have aggregate demand is equal to C plus I plus G, where C represents the consumption expenditure of the household sector, I, we have the investment expenditure of the producers, and C represents the government expenditure. Further, let's have a look at the components of aggregate demand in an open economy. Like what I've been telling you, what is an open economy? It is that economy which is open to uh, the Western world, to the whole wide world, so to say. Okay, and this open economy, okay, its aggregate demand comprises of four sectors. One, we have the household sector. The second, we have the producer sector. The third, we have the government sector. And the fourth, we have the rest of the world sector. As we, as I've already told you, like this C, okay, that means the consumption expenditure, the household sector. Okay, that means it comprises of families or the household sector, which do spend huge amount of its resources on buying commodities, goods to meet their day-to-day requirements. And besides the household sector, we also have the producer sectors, which comprises of producers, okay, who used to produce different types of goods and commodities, who also used to invest huge amount of resources, and as such is referred to as the producer sectors. The third, we have the government, which do also spend a lot. That means on buying and selling different goods and commodities for its people, and also incur huge amount of expenditure on so many works for the welfare of the people, so on and so forth. And under and in this open economy, we have one more extra sector, that is the rest of the world. And under this, that is the rest of the world sector, we're talking about trade. Okay, that means we're talking about the buying and selling. As we all know, once a country enter into a into a trading relationship with the rest of the world, a country do buy, a country do sell. That means a country do export, a country do imports. Therefore, the components of aggregate demand in an open economy comprises of C plus I plus G plus X minus M. Okay, where X minus M represents net exports, where X represents exports and M represents imports. So these are the components of aggregate demand in a in an open economy.